Hello parents, today's topic is on diet in autism. Often I get these queries from lot of parents that is it necessary that we have to follow certain diet if he is diagnosed with either autism or at risk for autism, and if so, what are those diets? Most common diet that most people know in autism is about the GFCF diet, which means in expansion, gluten free. GF is gluten free, casein free is CF. Gluten free means anything which is made of wheat or maida, to be telling you in a simplified manner, which means breads, chapatis, puris, biscuits, and anything which is made of these kind of atta, the noodles and all those things. Whereas CF, that is casein free. So casein is basically a protein which is found in milk, but not in human milk, it is found in the animal milk. So the basic animal milk which we take is either cow milk or buffalo milk or even goat milk, all these are going to have casein. So now why are we saying that these proteins may be linked with autism? Is it true is the next question, but actually on what basis are these things they have come up? So in the early theories, what happened was they were thinking, the scientists or the researchers, that maybe there is something wrong with the gut of these children, because many of the autistic kids actually had GI problems also associated. Either they were very constipated, or they were having too many diarrheas, or they were having food intolerance, etc. So this theory was speculated initially, and then over time they have seen that there is something called gut-brain axis, which means whatever food you are taking, it is through the gut only that it is being processed, assimilated, digested, etc., and it is going into your body, and whatever nutrients the brain and other organs require, they are going into those organs, and whatever the rest of the products or the toxins or the unwanted products are there, again it is the gut which is flushing it out of the body in the form of stool. So it is taking whatever it needs and flushing out whatever is unwanted. So in this whole process, if there is any problem, so you are not able to assimilate the good ones and you are not able to filter out the bad ones, then this causes an imbalance in the system, and one of the major organ, that is the brain, which depends on all these nutrients, is the brain. So they have proposed a theory that maybe, see, I am using this word very cautiously because none of this is scientifically totally proven. So they have speculated that maybe there is a problem with the gut of these children who are allergic to these kind of proteins, and so the function is being affected. So the one more theory which has come up at that particular time was the opioid theory. So I won't go into the details of this, but what they have seen is these peptides or the protein byproducts, whatever we can call the small units of this, they are almost similar to the opioids. Opioids are a kind of molecules which are produced in our body only, which actually increase the pain threshold. I mean, the body becomes little pain insensitive and other kinds of dullness in the system, etc. So they have seen that these peptides probably are having a similar effect that of a opioid. So this opioid theory was also kind of popular, but by and large nobody so far could prove 100% that this theory is actually working. So we are not very sure whether this GFCF diet is actually going to help these kids with autism, but there is some evidence that maybe it is improving in few of the problems, like especially maybe the restlessness in the child is decreasing, the hyperactivity is decreasing, socialization might improve a bit, and especially they have seen probably the repetitive behaviors are also coming down. There is no direct impact of it on the speech output or language, but indirectly interaction is improving. That was seen in few of the studies. Now whether to believe it or not. So to believe any theory, we should have a sound evidence, and the best evidence in research is by RCTs, which means randomized controlled trials. In simple words, if I have to tell you, see, you are thinking that something is causing a problem. So how will you definitely show that this is the responsible for the problem? So you have to take two groups of people who are equal on all aspects, and in one group we are introducing this specific factor, and in the another group we are not using this factor, and we have to study the two groups over a period of time to see what happened to both. If in the group in which this negative factor was there, in our case it is a gluten and a casein, so this diet is there in this particular group, and you have seen that their behaviors have not changed over time or even became worse, or despite therapies they are not responding, etc. In the other group where we have actually eliminated this kind of diet, you are seeing very positive response. So, and this has to occur in a scientific way over a large period of time, over a long period of time in a large group of people, and only then you can actually say that there is very good or strong evidence to support that this diet will help. But are such studies there? There are many studies actually on GFCF diets, but the groups are like 50 to 100 people groups, etc. And the biggest problem or challenge in these kind of studies is autism is not a single point diagnosis. I mean, it's like a huge spectrum. One child may be extremely having lot of problems, the other child may be on the mildest spectrum, and the therapies they are undergoing may be different, the family structure may be different, and there may be a lot of confounding factors also. So a study design which could actually test this kind of GFCF diet in a large group of population was actually not possible. So in small groups many people have tried and tested, and to the surprise, on the contrary to what is believed, they didn't really find a very strong scientific evidence that this is going to work. There are few studies we have shown that maybe it is working, like around 25 to 30% of improvements are seen in small amount of population, but by and large most of the studies have actually not shown a very strong scientific evidence. Now, having said this, so where do we stand? So you are saying evidence is not very strong, but everybody around is saying that GFCF diet works. So now what do we do as a parent? This is the next question that I am faced often. So I prefer to put it this way, like those kids in whom two kind of groups I would like to probably ask the parents to go for GFCF diet trial with an open mind. These two groups are, first group is they are almost crossed 3 or 4 years of age, they are on good amount of therapies, like they are going for about 3 to 6 months therapies or everything what you could do. Home environment is reasonably conducive, everything in the home, whatever we have asked you, like stop the screens, engage the child more, put him in purposeful play, all this you are doing. You have given enough opportunities for socialization, you have taken them out, you have going to relatives' place, new places, parks, outdoors very frequently, and if possible a normal inclusive school also. So all this you have tried, and you have tried it for a good amount of time, maybe like around 6 months at least you have tried, and still if you don't find any improvement in the child or reasonable improvement in the child, then probably this is a candidate in whom you can try a trial of GFCF diet. Why I am saying this is, if the moment the child is diagnosed at risk of ASD or virtual autism, whatever it may be, if you are jumping into these diets, at the same time you are starting the therapies, at the same time you are changing the home environment, now how do you know what is making the difference? So the problem is, then you will not know when to stop these also. So we cannot force the child not to eat any of these things. Like it is very common that milk products are there, like everything has milk, curd, milk, paneer, butter, bakery items, milkshakes, ice cream. So how many can you avoid in the child? And even the same way with the gluten also. Almost all the chocolates will have gluten and some amount of milk, etc. So how long can you avoid this child on this diet? And is it really necessary? So for that reason, do not jump into the diet straight away at the time of diagnosis. At least wait for a period of 6 months, see how much change the child has improved. If he is improving significantly, there is no need to try all these kind of diets. So this diet we can keep it for those who have not shown much improvements after doing everything possible. And the second group is those who have gut issues very predominantly even at the beginning. Like for example, they are having frequent diarrheas, or they are having frequent abdominal pain and you don't know why this child is crying most often, very fussy, they are not able to sleep well, and sometimes they are extremely constipated. These kind of children in whom you know that there is some issue with the gut, maybe they are candidates to try a GFCF diet a little early. So these are the only two groups in whom I prefer to suggest a GFCF diet, and not to everybody. And then how to monitor? Now, okay, we have started it, but now what to monitor? So monitoring should be in all these things which I have said, like mainly repetitive behaviors, how much are the self-stimming behaviors, how much are they decreasing, socialization, is it improving, interaction, is it improving, especially the restlessness and the hyperactivity, is it decreasing. So any improvement in the general behavior of the child, less tantrums, all these things you can monitor. And how long? That is the next question. So an ideal time is at least 3 months. So maybe it is too short to say, okay, I have used GFCF for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, there is no change, so let me restart. That is too early to say. And you cannot even go like, I have used GFCF for 1 year and I don't see the change, but I am scared not to restart. That is also wrong, because you have seen enough amount of time and you have reintroduced it and nothing really happened. Then that means GFCF diet is not going to have an effect in your case. So end point you can put at 3 months. If you see very significant changes, then probably there is a benefit in continuing. If not, you can reintroduce the diet and again follow what is happening with the child. So are there any tests which can tell you that GFCF diet is going to work on my child? Unfortunately, no. Most parents come to me with certain reports like food allergy test or skin allergy test or even stool tests and multivitamin tests, etc. But to be frank, none of them are going to tell you whether this child will improve on GFCF diet or not. There is no direct evidence, like if he is allergic to this particular substance in the blood test, he is going to be actually allergic to this food. So there is, do not waste your money on these kind of tests. If you have to try it in a sincere way. So the other question parents ask me is, can we reduce the quantity and see? Like for example, he is drinking every day half liter of milk and we have just cut it down to 100-200 ml of milk. It might not have an effect, because this theory which we are saying, the opioid theory or the gut-brain axis, etc., it is believing that the gut is allergic to these proteins. Allergy means quantity will not matter. Whether it is 100 ml or whether it is 500 ml is not going to make a difference. So if the improvement has to occur and if you have to see the change, you have to cut the whole of that for that period. It is not in parts, like you are giving little bit and checking. No, if you have to check it properly. If you do not want to resort to complete GFCF diet, then do not, but halfway through may not be helpful to decide the effectiveness. And what will happen if I retry? This is another very big point, because I see often parents like 7-8 year old kids with autism, they are very scared to reintroduce these foods. So don't be so scared if you have not really seen a great change with or without the food. Sometimes inadvertently the child would have eaten somewhere some chapati or some biscuits and cakes and all, and actually you didn't see any change in the next 15 days or so also. Then you can be reasonably positive and reintroduce this kind of food in the diet and be with an open mind and check. And don't be very biased, so that day they have eaten this, so immediately whatever is happening, do not try to attribute it to that. You just be with an open mind and see. In my personal experience, do I see GFCF diet affecting kids? Maybe I can say around 20-25%, not more than that, definitely. So especially those kids who had gut problems, their gut issues were solved to a large extent when this GFCF diet was introduced, and whether because their gut issues were solved and they were more comfortable, are they able to concentrate better, that is again a speculation. So we are still not very clear about the evidence of GFCF. So you have to be open on this and don't blindly believe anybody who is saying that this is to be done or this has to be done. There is no conclusive evidence for that. And a bit of caution about other diets. So till GFCF at least it is fairly okay, but there are many diets which are going in rounds everywhere in the routine therapy centers and all, that fruit should not be given. This is completely a false statement. Fruits are extremely natural sources of everything, nutrients, vitamins, minerals, everything, and fruits are a natural product. This gluten and casein which we are talking about are cultivated things. They were not naturally there, they were cultivated later on. And even in the cow milk, the major complaint now is that there are a lot of steroids and hormones etc. being given to the cows, and the quality of the milk has changed over years etc. So there are many things in that, but in the fruits which are naturally grown, and you know the source where you are getting them, and they are reasonably good, they are not putting injecting things into it etc. to ripen them fast etc. Those kind of fruits are not going to harm the child at all. We have confirmed this with many very good traditional Ayurvedic centers also. So fruits are never a problem. So please don't deprive your child of fruits. We have seen many parents saying bananas are to be stopped, apples have to be stopped, and so many, a big list of foods, but none of them need to be stopped. All vegetables can be eaten, all fruits can be eaten, rice can be eaten. If you can introduce millets into the diet, it is good.